Now being recorded. Welcome everybody to the October 2015 21st Century webinar. Today our topic is Sustaining Programs with Strong Partnerships, Relationships, and Community Involvement with Your Mission in Mind. And our presenters, Amanda Avenarius and Melanie Dill from the St. Mark Youth Enrichment Program in Dubuque, Iowa, are joining us today. So I'll turn it over to Amanda and Melanie. Go ahead and introduce yourselves and feel free to begin.
Well, thanks everyone for joining. And my name's Amanda Avenarius, and I'm the Associate Director here at St. Mark. And I'm joined by Melanie Dill, and she's the Education Coordinator for St. Mark. So we're very happy to have all of you join us this morning. We'll get going because I want to respect everyone's time. This is the St. Mark mission and vision. And just a little bit of background, when about 2 years ago, actually November 1st, 2 years, I will be here 2 years, and we are a small nonprofit of 9, and 7 of us were all new 2 years ago. And so when we came to St. Mark, we had wanted the best for the organization, and shortly after we all started, we had a strategic planning session. I want to say it was 3 sessions, and to really focus on, what's important to St. Mark sustaining and continually focusing on excellence in the service that we provide our community. And, what we found during the strategic planning sessions that we had is we truly have to be true to the mission and vision of St. Mark. And that goes to, that has to do with community collaborations, and grants, recruitment events, etc., because it's so important to stay true to the mission. Otherwise, you kind of get carried away and you're focusing on things that are taking away from its true mission of excellence. So basically, St. Mark serves approximately around 450 kiddos each school year in our before, after, and summer school programming. That's quite a bit. In the mornings in Dubuque here, we serve 4 programs. In the afternoon, we serve 3 programs. So we definitely keep busy and touch quite a bit of kiddos' lives. Other than the before school, after school, and summer programs, we also have community pieces that we take part in as well. And what you're seeing is our Apples for Students. And this initiative was started in 1996 here in Dubuque. And last year we were able to supply 1,400 students with school supplies. That's every school that we have in the Dubuque district. And then this year we also reached out to Western Dubuque too. And this includes, Head Start programs, Four Oaks, Department of Human Services, etc. We feel it is important to collaborate with the schools and with these service providers as well to meet the needs of the youth in our community, youth and families, I should say, in our community. And John Deere to really get this initiative off and going. So they help with supplying, they help with purchasing, packing bags, and even delivery of the bags for our kiddos. Sponsor Angels is another piece that we take part in with our community. And last year, we were able to supply warm clothing to 147 students. So the students are found as, we get our kiddos that are enrolled in our program, and that includes any of the siblings that are in their home too, 18 and under. If we do have extra donations, which we typically do, a lot of times we have more sponsors than we do families, we will reach out to our school counselors in the Department of Human Services to make sure that we get those warm clothing items in the right hands. Donors sponsor a child or family, and they can either provide dollars for items, they can shop themselves, they can supply gift cards, they can assist with wrapping or bagging items. And we are always truly amazed at the amount of giving in our community. And again, that comes back to having partnerships and relationships with those in the community and maintaining those on a yearly basis to make sure all these needs are met for these youth and families. Legacy of Learning. This is our biggest fundraiser that we have to raise money for the St. Mark program. We really work with so many community providers, so many volunteers and donors to make this so successful. This year, we are proud to say that we've raised over $50,000 and doubled it from last year. And I want to say a lot of that was because of our outreach coordinator, who is amazing at building relationships within our community. But it's also, you know, the way we sustain those relationships that we've had ongoing for these many years, too. So a very, very successful event. And in the Legacy of Learning, we get the kiddos involved at our sites as well. So you can kind of see the little map there. And our students at site actually decorated those masks that, in turn, people at the event could purchase, and the money went back to the St. Mark program. This looks a little bit goofy, but this is our ice golf classic event. You know, we have we have fundraisers, but this is one of those fundraisers that is for truly fun. So if you like golfing and you like cold, we actually golf 18 rounds of golf on the Mississippi River. And people come and we charge a fee for teams, and then we have some, you know, little raffles and stuff throughout the event. But this is our second highest fundraiser for the St. Mark program. And of course, you know, we get so many people who want to take part in this. So volunteers, you know, get prepped the river, and we have, you know, people on hand to assist with the needs at the marina, etc. So we are very, very proud, too, of the collaboration that we have to make this event very successful. Last year was the most teams that we've had for this event, and we had 62 teams throughout the day want to take part in this. So we are looking for another successful event this year. So please pray for cold and snow. This next slide is just a little bit of the program partners that make all of this possible. So you can see, and this is just a portion of it that I put together. I found out about putting this together Friday, so I did the best that I could. But you can see we really do work with colleges and AmeriCorps and, you know, like various places in the few to make not only our programs in our before school, after school, and summer schools possible, but to make these fundraisers and community events for our youth and family possible, too. In any way, you know, they might help with staffing, enrichment, you know, the fundraising. It could be professional development or whatever, but this is just a start at some of the program partners that make it possible. And one thing that we do to keep in track of all these program partners is to keep, you know, in contact with them ongoing, but each month we create a list of ways that we are out in the community networking. I take pride in working for St. Mark because our executive director allows us to truly network, to be able to keep continuing to maintain these networks and partnerships that we have. So you can see these are, I just went ahead and listed, you know, a couple of the networking opportunities that we all take part in here at St. Mark. So you can see, you know, our executive director makes sure on a weekly basis she goes to Rotary, and then she does donor visits. I visit Kiwanis, the Women's Leadership Network. Each one, you can see the education coordinator is on the site council, plus the Council for Prevention of Child Abuse. And then our program coordinator also is on site council, and our outreach is on site councils. So all 4 schools that we have, we network with the site councils to make sure that we are networking with them as well. And then we each get to pick something we're very passionate about and network too. And I have to say that last week I took Beth McGorry to my Kiwanis group, and before the event was even done and after she presented on what St. Mark does and who we serve, I was asked to please apply for the grant because they really want to give money to our organization. So it's positive networking like that, that there's another partnership that we have and a relationship that we had made just from networking and sharing what our true mission is and what we do.
And then this here you'll see is a calendar. It's a month calendar from last school year. But what this is our enrichment calendar, and we have one each month, and I am responsible for setting up all the enrichment that happens within the program. So I will schedule it. This calendar is color-coded, so when the schools get it, when the principal gets it, the site lead gets it, they know exactly what's going to happen in their school and at what time. And therefore, the site leads then, when they do their lesson plans, they have this ahead of time, and they're able to utilize this when they do their lesson plan and integrate the enrichment into their plan. If they know something's coming up, they may do some background study with those students, like if we're getting ready to do a big one on yoga here next month. So then they've introduced yoga through Go Noodle or some other form, just to get some background knowledge about what yoga is and what's going on with yoga and what the new studies are showing. We also have a monthly family event, and as you can see on that third, I don't know if you can read it or not, but there was a family event back then, and it was playing games and talking about health and nutrition and doing fun things with the family. So those were all highlighted also in our enrichment calendar. Those are set up with a lot of my enrichments for families are set up with the local colleges. We have different programs at the colleges that they want their students to participate in some hands-on projects with students and families. So they would come up with, in this instance, Loras College came up with 5 different centers. And then when the families came in, they ate, and then they would rotate from center to center and be able to have a good time and a fun time with the college kids, engage in the activities that they had provided for the families. Also on the 20th, you'll see that one's in black as well. And we had a grant for the arts. And so I worked closely with Loras College, and they came into all the schools and did Shakespeare 4 different times throughout last school year. I wrote up a curriculum for that coincided with all of the themes that they were doing each time they were coming in. So then the site leads could use that information for some more background knowledge about Shakespeare before the college students came in. I will say that as of this year, I just counted, and I didn't count every single one, but right now I have 55 community partners that I have worked with over the last year and a half. I've developed those relationships. Some of them have already developed before I started a couple years ago, but I have met with numerous community partners and developed strong relationships, and that has made this year go really smooth, because last year was the first time I did before and after school and summer programming for enrichment. And this year, some of them, I have them contacting me to say, what can we do? Can we help? We have board members that are on our board that will do enrichment. On this calendar here, you can see that there was, like on the 20th, we had Chinese enrichment, and on the 13th. And that was one of our board members that speaks fluent Chinese, and he came to me and said he wanted to do something. So he worked with 5 different kids at Marshall Elementary for 6 consecutive weeks on Chinese enrichment. So that's just a spin-off of that. with the family engagement piece, we also, and I know I'm on the family engagement committee for the 21st century, but we've struggled with how do we get families here and what do we do, and we're learning to send out emails constantly, do Facebook, make phone calls. I'm telling you, last Tuesday, we had a family event. On Monday, we had 2 families signed up. By Tuesday night, we had 20 kids and 11 parents. So me sending an email out to say, hey, it's a free supper. We're going to do this, and a reminder for those family events. We got people to sign up, and it happened the month before, too. So I don't know if it's just luck this year or what, but that really seemed to work. With some of our family events, also, we do hold them here at the center, so they have to leave the school and come to us. We are this year collaborating with some of the schools and having a few of our family events at the schools. And then we've also had family events where we have picked the families up at their designated school and then transported them by trolley. We have 4 or 5 trolleys here in Dubuque that we put into our budget for transportation for enrichment, and they can feed up to 30 people. So the trolleys, we can hire them, they'll go pick up the families and then take them to enrichment. Last year, with the University of Dubuque, we went and saw the Berenstain Bears, and that was part of our art grant that we have that also provided the opportunity for florists to come in and for us to provide multiple outreaches for the students and for the families. And one of the things that I'll say about enrichment is I can probably guarantee you that most of the stuff that's on the screen we didn't pay for. Very few things up there did we pay for. And that tends to happen a lot, even with different things. You know, summer programs a little different because we do bring resources in from outside of Dubuque frequently, and we take the kids on longer trips and stuff. But once you get connected with community partners and are in collaboration with them, it's amazing how they will be resourceful for you, and very few of them, will even charge. So that's great. And then the next slide shows, this is something, and I can tell the format looks a little different than what it does when I send it to the enrichment providers because it was transferring different to this presentation. But what I do send out to all providers, and I update it frequently, is I will send them this information which tells our enrichment provider who they should contact if they have a question, where the addresses of all of the sites, so all of 4 of the schools that we serve, what their address is, what their phone number is, and then which door they need to enter when they get to the school, and then who the site lead is, and school contact information. So if they can't get a hold of us and they need to get a hold of the school, they typically can. And then also I keep it up to date as far as number of students we have in programs. Because when providers come in, if they're going to be doing something hands-on with the students, it's going to make a difference. We can see Lincoln before school was 14 at this time, and after school for Marshall, 35. So with providers coming in, they need to know how many students are going to be there if they need to bring supplies for students. So I update this probably every 2 or 3 months, depending on our numbers and how much change there is. And providers have appreciated this a lot, and it's something that they keep on hand so they can remember exactly where to go to and who their contacts are.
So one thing that we really believe in strongly is great staff equal great programs. And so we are so lucky in Dubuque to have as many colleges as we have. And so we collaborate quite a bit with our local colleges, not only for enrichment, but for also, strong placement at our site. So I work pretty closely with our education department, psychology, sociology, to really work with the professors in these departments to be put on their syllabus for not only, like service learning opportunities, but volunteers and and so what we do is, I will go up and present on behalf of St. Mark and see if any of the students are interested in becoming involved whatsoever. And we get quite a bit of students from the local colleges. This year alone, we have 26 staff at this time, and 7 of them are work study students. So it's not coming out of our budget. And that's pretty, when you think about the hours that they have at our program, that's pretty significant. 2 of the staff that we have are actually AmeriCorps for the school district during the day as well. So they're very knowledgeable about the student needs that they work with at the sites, either before or after a program. 4 of our staff actually started out as volunteers over a J term, and they now work for St. Mark. So they came in understanding what the program was and then enjoyed it so much that they wanted to become part of that. And all of our staff are, working on their college education or have their master's or bachelor's degrees as well. We also in the summer work with our local, AmeriCorps program and foster grandparent program too, to get extra hands on board as well. So over our summer program last year, we had 3 AmeriCorps assist with our summer program. So we ended up having to pay them a lot less per hour, but get very, very knowledgeable and educated people to come in and assist with our program. And we offer, we are thankful also, to have these great staff, but to provide them professional development. So we work pretty closely with our school district here to offer them no-cost professional development. So they'll come in and maybe do a training on reading strategies or, ACEs or trauma-informed care. And basically what we have to do is pay the staff to come to this training. And so that does help us out quite a bit. Last year as well, we seen that it costs quite a bit of money to get to have people trained in CPR and first aid, AED. And so we actually have myself who offers free training to our staff too, because we feel that that's important. So we're able to offer our staff free professional development in CPR, first aid, AED, and place them at our site. So that too saves quite a bit of money, because for a while there we were paying $70 a person to go to get certification in that as well. And then we also worked with University of Iowa College and clinics to be licensed to offer mandatory reporter training to all of our staff right here at St. Mark. So we don't have to send them anywhere to get that done, but we do it right here at St. Mark. So it doesn't cost us anything to do that. All we really had to do is put the money out originally to purchase the items needed for that training. So we understand and have seen how important partnership is with hiring staff, placing staff, professional development, etc. So. And it takes a community. I talked about, working with our local colleges to, get volunteers throughout the school year who might need so many service learning hours. It's always nice to have extra hands at our site, especially those who are pretty much trained in youth development and have a passion for working with students. But, as Melanie stated too, we also work with board members, et cetera, to come in and offer their talents as well. If we have a staff or somebody who really does have a talent, for instance, like hip hop dance, we'll kind of reach out to them and have them share their talents with our kiddos as well. We also have been reaching out and collaborating with our local LEAP program through the school district. I know last year they would come to sites and assist once in a while with our students, and this year what they're going to do is try to plan an activity at one of our after school location. This is no cost, and it's a win for the LEAP program, and it's a win for us and our students. And then we're also working with our high school students. For instance, there's a Transition Alliance program who have high school students who may be interested in working with youth, but kind of want to go in and do a little bit of volunteering to see if it's something that, you know, they can transition to for maybe attending a college for education or whatever. And so that's something we're trying to do. And these are programs where we get extra hands at site, and it doesn't cost us anything, but it's a win for all parties. So everything that we've been talking about truly equals program sustainability in our eyes. You know, when it comes to leadership, the admin team that we have here is very passionate about what they do. They are clear, they're concise, they're professional, and they understand how to truly collaborate with our community for the best interest of our program. And that, you know, plus partnerships, collaboration, community involvement, plus program capacity, which is really what we are truly doing at this time, equals program sustainability. One thing that we truly focus on is setting realistic expectations and prioritizing. There's so many things that we want to do. However, we know that we're only capable of doing so many things at this time. So when you talk about all of this, really everything that we talked about goes around our mission. You know, we truly provide innovative programs and services that cultivate educational and social emotional growth of youth and families with the help of our community. So, really how it is. So, if anyone has any questions, please let me know.